Now this one, what food did the animal eat? What is this animal? Cow. This cow can become haram for you. This is halal, right? We all eat cow. This can become haram. What? How? In what condition does it become haram? If it eats filth. How many of you remember mad cow disease? Remember it, right? A few years ago, even now, sometimes here and there, you often hear. What was the problem with mad cow disease? What was the basic reason? What was the basic cause? Why did the cow have this mad cow disease? See, the problem is cow is supposed to eat what? Like things like grass and the whatever the crops that you have it, and they are supposed to eat those. But in what happened was when the cattle dies, there's a lot of dead animals and a lot of waste of those dead animals. They would mix that dead meat inside the food of the cow or the cattle. They mix it. It was cheap for them that way. So they did a lot like that in Europe, and also in some in Canada. So what happened? Cow ate it. The innocent cow ate it, but what happened? It developed this mad cow disease. Mad cow disease, what happens is your brain and your spinal cord will have this degenerative function. It will not function. It will start to get it will deteriorate, and it will not function the way it is designed. So, and in this way, and the other problem with this was that this animal will not only get diseased, but humans are now getting infected with it as well. So it was like spreading like a wildfire. So now because of this problem, it was banned, and they are not allowed to do that anymore, and they cannot sell. So the problem here is now you can understand the wisdom, the how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes the rules. It's in perfect form. Humans think that, oh, this is more economical, I can sell the beef so cheaply because I'm feeding it very cheap. So now it's good for the people. Look, everybody agrees. But now what happened, you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed food for us. He knows what is good and what is not. Sometimes we don't understand. And if you make the animals eat filth, there's something bad going to happen. Okay? So that's what Jalala animal says. And it can be any animal. If it eats filth, then it is haram. You cannot eat that animal. So scholars said that there are three kinds of Jalala animals. So some animals, their main food is filth. They eat all the time filth. They are wild, for example. They just eat filthy, like maybe they eat pork or dead animals or whatever. They just eat filth. In this category, all scholars agree that it is haram. Unanimously, there's you cannot eat those animals. Now, second category, some of their food is filth, and some of it is halal. Can we eat those animals? Scholars said it is makruh, it is disliked. You should not eat such animals. And they said that it is permitted if it's like 20%, 30% of food. Imam Shafi used to say that when these animals eat like bad food, you can find out because the smell that they have, it's very different. And even the milk, if they give that milk, it smells really very weird. So you know that it has become a jalal animal, so you cannot eat or drink from that anymore. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he specifically made it haram. The meat and the milk of a jalal animal is haram. But scholars said that, for example, chicken is halal or haram? It is halal, of course, but if you leave the chicken, it is impossible for it to not peck on like haram things, right? It's just gonna peck everything. So you cannot really control everything what it eats. So scholars said that if it's like 20% or so, it is okay, no problem. But if it's like eating all the time filthy foods, then there's no way you can eat. And some exception that scholars give is that if filth is eaten in the past. So for example, you see the chicken now, right? You saw that it was pecking on a filthy thing. Now, and you want to be really be very clean and not eat that chicken. So what do? You keep that chicken in your home or whatever for 3 to 7 days. Give it very good food. And then after that stage, when that everything comes out or used, then it is perfectly 100% halal to eat. So that's how we should go about it. And that's why even you see in back home countries, for Eid al-Adha, what do? They buy the lamb, keep it in their house for some duration, so that they feed very good food to them. You never know what these sheep are eating. People are after cheap maintenance of all their cattle that they have. So that's what we should do. That give them good food, and when you give them good food, their body and their meat becomes more tasty, and so on. Okay. Prohibition of organ or byproduct. So what exactly? Just because meat is halal, does it mean everything is halal? Can we drink the blood of the lamb, for example? What if we put spices and good spices in blood? Does it become halal? No, it doesn't become halal. No matter the world's best chef makes it the most beautiful, delicious dish, it is still haram. Why? Because we have a direct evidence from Quran itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we mentioned about the verse last time, wherein Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically said, I find not in that which has been inspired to me anything forbidden to be eaten by the one who wishes to eat, unless it be of maita, that is the dead animal, or the blood poured forth. Damam masfuha, that's what the word is, the blood which is poured forth. So when you slaughter, the blood that comes out, that is haram on you. And we're going to talk about exceptions. And the milk of jalala animals, as we said last time, meat and milk of jalala animals is haram. Any organ of a haram animal. Okay, is pork haram? Pork is haram. We have this direct verse from Quran, right? Aw lahma khinzir, right? That is haram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always used the word flesh of pig or swine. So the flesh. What about skin of a pig? I think they sell skin, pork skin or something like that. What about skin? Allah didn't say skin of the pork. Is it halal? Is it halal? It is haram, because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making the most important part haram, all other things are automatically haram. You don't have to, some people argue like that, who have disease in their hearts. Shaitan comes in again and they say, show me in Quran, where is it? Sometimes you have to use your common sense. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it haram for a reason, and the most important part is haram, everything become haram. Otherwise, the bone or the bone marrow, these are all halal, and the milk, obviously from cow, it's halal. Liver. Does liver have blood in it? So can you eat the liver? Sometimes when you're cooking, the blood comes out, And spleen. What is spleen? What is spleen? What do you call in Urdu spleen? Tili. In Arabic you call tuhal, right? So is it this spleen actually? What is the function of a spleen? In human being, it's like in the upper left quadrant. The spleen, the function of it is the red blood cells that we have. The blood, it's a purification organ basically. Blood comes in and it purifies the blood, and it's also, doctors say that it prevents you from infections because of that spleen. It cleans it, and it's part of immune system. So now it's like it's nothing but blood. Spleen is an organ which has blood. So can we eat spleen? So we have a hadith about it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that two kinds of blood are permitted: liver and the spleen. Liver and the spleen. So it's not like blood is coming out of it, like their blood is there inside, maybe the veins or whatever. The blood that Quran mentions is the blood which is poured forth, that like gushes out, and when you slaughter, it comes out. That's the kind of blood which is haram. So if it is found in these two organs, liver and spleen, then no problem, inshallah. You can clean it well, and then you can eat it. Even if it's a little bit of blood here and there, it's no problem. And sometimes even in meat there is blood, right? It's okay, no problem, because it's not the blood which is pouring forth. It's there in the veins or whatever. Horse. Is it halal or haram, and why? What's the proof? First thing, you have to go again all those principles that I mentioned. Does horse have fangs? No. Does it eat meat? So you don't have to really worry about why it ate filth or pork or whatever. It doesn't eat. And what's the proof really? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Sahaba mentioned that on the day of Khaybar, the battle of Khaybar, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forbade particularly the meat of the domesticated donkey, but he said you can eat the meat of horses. He allowed concession to eat the meat of horses. This is from Sahih al-Bukhari. And there are many narrations as well. And he said that, like the daughter of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Asma radiallahu anha, she said that we slaughtered a horse and we ate it. And we used to eat their flesh and drink their milk as well during that time. Okay? Okay, what about this guy out here? Is it halal or is it haram? Huh?
It looks like it should be halal because it doesn't eat.
Does it have fangs?
That's a big fan, right?
Yes.
These looks like fangs. Does elephant use this to kill animals?
No. Yes.
It doesn't kill anything. It's for yeah, it's there. It's just for show. it's the thing here is that some scholars, they were not exposed to elephants and they said that, oh, since it has fangs, it was haram. But scholars now say that it is halal because it doesn't have fangs that it kills others with, so it is halal, no problem. Okay. What about this guy here? Wild donkey. Sorry?
Any other dalil that elephant is halal?
There is no dalil because sorry.
Look at the feet of the animal, the elephant.
Yes, it doesn't really matter. See the nails that it has, even if it has like claws, the hadith and verses that we have doesn't forbid us to eat those animals which has claws. Like tiger, for example, has those claws, but it's not forbidden because of those claws. It's forbidden because of the fangs. So there is no such thing here. The claws that you're talking about is about the birds. They are forbidden.
That people ate the past.
In elephant was exception because people in Arabia there was no elephants, right? So people used to think that they used it for killing, but now scholars say that now everybody knows elephants. So nobody ate elephants in those days. Okay, but now scholars said that it is halal because it fulfills all the 5 conditions of animals which are haram. Okay, so wild donkeys, these are called onagers, for example. Yeah, these are called onagers. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he forbade domesticated donkey, but if you find a wild donkey, it is halal, inshallah. And what happened was that one Sahabi, he hunted this animal and he brought a piece of it to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And did the Prophet eat it? He ate it, and he said it is halal, you eat it, and he ate it. He ate it as well. What about this animal? Hyena and fox.
I don't think so.
Some of these hyenas, they eat. They have fangs, and they hunt with those fangs. But the fox, many of the fox, they have fangs, but they don't eat, or they don't kill with those fangs. So the scholar said it is those kind of animals are halal, but if it's using or to kill animals, then it is problematic. Now nobody is going to eat hyena and fox, really speaking. But the thing is, the reason why we are discussing is that if we fall into a situation where if we have option between pig and fox, for example, the choice should be obvious, because fox can be halal if it's like kept for some duration, and it doesn't eat filthy foods, and then you choose it over pig, because pig is obviously haram unanimously. So in this circumstance it becomes halal, but you have to make sure it doesn't eat any filthy food. The problem is these animals are wild and they eat whatever filth they find. Yes.
What does a domesticated donkey?
Domesticated donkey means you keep it in your house or in your farm, and they do work for you. So you take care of them. They are not wild. They are not like roaming around in the jungle or something. So domesticated donkey, just like cow, lamb, sheep, hen, you keep it with you and do it like a horse. You ride on it and make use of it.
But then cow and everything also is domesticated. So why?
Cow, Rasulullah SAW permitted it. He made an exception for only the domesticated donkey. Yeah. Zebra, is zebra halal or not? Does zebra have fangs? No. Does it eat filthy things? No, it just eat grass. So it is halal. Simple. Some people called in Arabic you call himar washi. It like sounds like donkey with the name, but it's not donkey. It's like it's a wild donkey, so it's halal. It's halal, no problem, inshallah. Now this one, who ate balut? Did anybody eat balut here? So if you have like a Filipino friend, if he invites you, most probably he will give you this food. It's a delicacy in Philippines. So what exactly this is? It's like egg, right? So what happens is, let me tell you what happens. Egg, right? How many days does a chick come out of the egg? Like about 28 days, right? So balut, this is a kind of stage where you incubate it for like 16 days, just like in the middle, 16 to 20 days, and then you boil it, and at this point the embryo has been formed and the animal is there, it's there, and people at that time cut the shell and they eat it from that animal. So that's like a delicacy, and it is said that they do it because doctors don't prohibit it because they say it has very high levels of proteins, obviously, and they say it's good for heart. But is it allowed? Is it halal or haram in Islam? It is haram. It is haram. Who can tell me why it is haram? What principle we can use? The 5 principles that I gave, which principle fails in this one? It's not slaughtered. The category of maita, the Quran that mentions maita, it's a dead thing, it's a dead animal. You have to slaughter it in the right way. You cannot just kill it like that, it becomes maita. So people eat it. If you just Google it, you see many people eating it. We are not aware because our culture doesn't allow, but there are many people eating it. So if you have a Filipino friend, be careful, inshallah, because sometimes it can become, you don't know, he'll say just try it on. And you have to be aware, it's just an egg is halal, I'm going to eat it. So no, it's not halal. So there are some regions also you have to be careful. Can you eat raw meat? Nobody is going to eat raw meat, but in case, if you don't have stove and you have like, those, sometimes you have those turkeys or whatever, those sliced meats or whatever fashion you want to eat, a ground beef. Little bit, if somebody wants to eat, is it haram? No, it is not haram because there's no evidence which says it is haram. But I'm just letting you know that it is okay. In sushi, somebody was mentioning it is not cooked, so it's raw meat, it's halal. Okay, age of an animal. What is the minimum age of an animal? Like for example, lamb or a cow. What should be the minimum age that you can eat? There is absolutely no limit on the age. What you're saying, that is for Eid al-Adha. When you sacrifice for Eid al-Adha, that has restrictions. For example, camel has 5 years, and cow has 2 years, and lamb has how much? Goat has 1 year, and sheep has 6 months, which is a lamb basically. Those are the restrictions for Eid al-Adha. But for general purpose eating, there is no restriction. Obviously, nobody wants to eat like a 10-day baby calf, for example. Like we wait, but in case somebody has to eat it, there is no restriction on the age. The only restriction was, just as you mentioned, the age of the balut, which is not even incubated completely. Giving haram food to non-Muslims. So, can you give pork to your neighbor? You're not eating it. Is it allowed? No, it is not allowed. Scholars said it is haram to give food to non-Muslims. Giving haram food to animals. So you, yeah.
Let's say I brought something from the market
Mhm.
When I reached home, I saw that it has gelatin or something. Can I give it to non-Muslims? Like, can I take it to the office and give it to somebody?
So the general rule is that you cannot buy haram product. But if it's like, if it's not going to be sold, it's not, if they're not going to take back, then you don't have an option. Then in that case, you don't have a choice, right? The scholars mention this fourth category actually. If you're in a certain situation, give it to animals. Give it to animals. So like you come home and you see your neighbor sent something, and your wife says, "Oh, he sent something. I don't know what it is," and you open and you see it is pork. And scholars said that obviously you cannot buy pork, but if you have pork, give it to animals, a cat or whatever. It is not a problem, but generally you should stay away from shopping those kind of things and getting rid of it. Okay, so inshallah, let's stop here. These are the raw meat. If you want to eat it, is halal.
Harmful for the body.
If it is harmful, you cannot eat. You have to know. Yeah, I'm talking about sometimes in a necessity, right? You don't know what to eat if there's shortage of food. In those situations, it is it becomes